Alright guys, let's move on to the next example. Again, we have another ring, but something interesting about this ring is the fact that it has different radiuses in different sides. I mean, as you can see, there's some sort of a deformity to their design, which kind of makes them, well, interesting. And you can see they are quite beautiful or even appealing to the eyes in their own right. Okay, now I'm going to start my work by entering the front view, and then I'm going to use a circle and set one here like this. Okay, let me see. For the radius of the circle, I'm going to go with maybe 1 cm or 1.5 maybe. Alright, now the next step here that I need to take is to change up my view to perspective view. Then select the object, press ZS as for zoom selected. Then from the items here, I'm going to select a line from midpoint. And by the way, quad snap should be activated. Then I'm going to try setting this line here for myself. Then I'm going to use align vertical to add 2 vertical lines at both endpoints of this horizontal line. One here, and for the other one, I'm going to use mirror like this. Then I'm going to use the blend curve command to attach these 2 vertical lines. Okay, I might need to reduce the curve here a bit, so I'm going to enter the right view, hold shift, and then try to use the script to reduce the curve. Now join and OK. Now select these, join again to create this closed down one component line. Alright, let's see what else we can do. For the top part of our model, I'm going to use a rectangle and set a vertical, you can say rectangle or square, whatever you want to call it, up here. Then I'm going to move the rectangle to this point and then reduce the top side length like this. Now I'm going to enter the right view here to check up the dimensions of my model like this. I mean, as you can see, we need to enlarge this side a little bit. And this side is okay. Right now, sweep 1 activated, and try creating a connection in between these 2. We also need to close down this side as well. So I'm going to use close sweep. Okay, I think I need to try this again. Sweep on these 2 lines. Okay. Now close sweep. And yeah, okay. What happened here was that I didn't select the objects in the best order. So it goes like this. Path first, then section 1, section 2, first arrow rightwards here, then the same goes up here. Now, after this, close sweep. The result would be this sort of ring shape. Now, to create that deformity that I mentioned before, we can, for example, enlarge the size of this part, the top part here. Then again, we can go through the sweep process. So the path, sections, and specify the arrows. Here we go, close sweep. Then, afterwards, specify the material and check everything in the rendering mode. Okay, and just like this, we are done with creating the model for our third example, which was actually the second ring of the day. All right, moving on. Let me just turn on this layer, move this aside, and also we can minimize these, by the way, and everything have been selected here. And now we have a one component surface. All right. And we also have this separate object right in the middle of this one. So right now, select everything, Boolean union to create this one component object. Alright, let's see what else we can do. Select again, isocurve deactivated. Then turn off the layer. And I'm going to set these in the same layer as well. Alright guys, moving on to our next example. Again, we can see a couple of rings here. Automatically, we call these rings inlaid rings. As you can see, there are some stones or diamonds set on them. One of the stones is circular, the other one is squared or rectangular. And yeah, that is basically it. Let's see how exactly we can create the models for such rings. Okay, where did they go? Let me just find them again. Here we go. Alright, basically, to begin our work, to start drawing or creating the models for such rings, I'm gonna go back to Rhino and I'm gonna try to use this ring that we have worked on before. Okay, first off, I'm gonna copy this model in another layer. And then, as I said, the rest will be done on the same model. Now, I'm going to use area centroid to specify the center point, and then use the center point to move the circle to the 0 and 0 coordinates. Then afterwards, I'm going to change up my view to the top view more precisely, and try setting a circle here with a specific radius, based on what we have in the image. For example, it could be something like this. I'm going to try moving this circle upwards and set it somewhere around here. Now, what does exactly this circle doing here? Well, this circle is in fact representing the, you can say, the area in which my stone or diamond is going to be set. Now, as my next step, I'm going to go ahead and select a line and try setting a line or actually connecting this quad to the center point of this circle using grid snap. And also I need to press tab on the keyboard, and as a result I would have a line here like this, and it'll be locked down. Now I'm going to use sweep 1 again, select the path and also the sections to create something like this. Then afterwards, I need to use offset surface. Now what I need here is an exterior offset this time with, by, well, maybe 0.07. Yeah, this is enough thickness. Alright, the next command that I'm going to use would be Boolean difference to subtract the object out of our whole model. Let's see. Alright, after using Boolean difference, you know what, let me just check what other subcategory items, or actually Boolean subcategory items we have here. For example, we got Boolean intersection. Let's select it and then select this area. By the way, we don't really need this middle part anymore, so we can in fact remove them. Right? Here we go. Next up, we can use trim. Now, what I'm going to do is selecting this part here and try trimming it out of our whole model. Alright, and then at the end, we can convert or actually unionize these two objects into a one component solid object. Alright, this would be the end result, and you would still be able to apply more modifications. For example, you can change up the size and dimensions. Press Ctrl Shift and then use these grips to change up the dimensions as you want. So basically, this would be the preliminary model for one of the inlaid rings. Let me just move this out of the way. Then remove this. Then I'm going to select this one and get another copy. Then transfer this to 0 and 0 coordinates. Now move this to the 0 layer and this one to the second layer. Okay, let's move on to the next example here, to the next model. And as I said before, automatically we call such rings inlaid rings. So the modeling process would somehow goes the same as before or as the last example. The only difference is that instead of a circular diamond, we would have a rectangular one set on top of the ring. So after setting the rectangle, I'm going to move it upwards and set it, for example, here. Now I'm going to hold shift, get a copy of this rectangle, move it to somewhere around here, and then afterwards I can scale it a little bit. Okay, after selecting such forms, I can select them both, both of the rectangles, and then use loft to create a face like this for myself. Now I'm going to select the face that I have created and use offset surface to add a little bit of thickness to this object like this. And I guess this much thickness will suffice. Okay, as our next step, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use another command here, another item. We have actually used this before. It's not a new item, Boolean difference. I'm going to use it to remove this part of our model. And then we can remove this middle part manually. Okay. Oh, and another thing that we should actually do is to, well, for both of the models, by the way, is to remove this bottom part. So let's change up the layer first. Then I'm going to change up the view, the right view or front. And then I'm going to try adding a circle right to this part. After that, I'm going to use extrude curve to volumize the circle first, and then we can reduce it from our model. And let me just make this a solid first, cap. Then I can use Boolean difference again to reduce this, well, now cylinder from our model. Here we go. Now we can, well, somehow do the same for this model as well. Again, we need to change up our view to front view first. And then we need another circle here. 2 points or even 3 points. Project activated. Specify the points. And we're going to use these points to specify or actually create our circle. I think I made a little mistake here. Again, front view. Yeah, now again, circle, 3 points. Specify the points, the vertices. Now select, again, extrude curve. Solid. Here we go. Now again, use Boolean difference to remove this cylinder. It seems like it doesn't work for some reason. Let's see what exactly is the problem here. Let me just check something. All right. So again, what we want to do here is to create a circle, an interior circle here, and then remove it with its all properties from our entire model. Let me just reduce the size of the circle, the interior circle, like this. Okay. Or I think we might even be able to do something else. I'm going to enter the front view again, and this time instead of using a circle, I'm going to use an arc. So first I'm going to create the arc using these points. Then, you know what, let's use a new command here, wire cut. Okay. Now first select the curve, then before pressing enter, select the object. Now press enter. All right, let's see whether it worked or not. No, it didn't cut anything. All right, no worries, it doesn't matter actually. We can still select the arc here and then use trim to remove it, just as you can see here. And then regarding this opening, we can use a command such as loft to close it down. First off, I'm going to activate Dop Edge, then Join, and after that, I can use Loft. And then at the end, join everything. And as always, now we can add other materials and check the end result in rendering mode, as you can see. Okay, now cell curve, remove, and also cell point, remove again. And I guess we are all done here. Okay, everyone, so up to this point, we have successfully created models for several different rings and also this Swiss clock.